We need to talk about Sonalee.
Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that a fit body is a white supremacist beauty ideal? Or is it just a fit body is what the body wants? Nobody's body wants to be that size. Good morrow, everybody. My name is Robin, also known as SunnySideUpGal, and you are my Sunny Side Up pal. Good morning, good morrow, and happy Friday. If you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you. If you get the chance, please go ahead and just hit that subscribe button, because this is the first day of a very, very long and beautiful friendship. Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and like the video, because me know you're gonna like the video. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for returning to watch this video. Today we're going to chat about a particular influencer of the interwebs who's also a sex therapist. So they're a professional who has made a lot of unprofessional claims / comments / statements, and me not like very much. And it's kind of strange how they even came into my mind and my thoughts and my brain,
your head and your mind and your brain,
to create a video about them. Now that person is called Sonalee Rashatwar. If that name sounds familiar to you, they actually got a little bit of heat / hate I think a couple years ago, or maybe like in 2023, for a particular statement that they had made on, and we'll get into all of this, but let me just catch you up, okay? A particular statement that they made on a Bill Cosby documentary that was a little disgusting. The whole reason why we're even chatting about Sonalee right now is I got a random comment from a subscriber, and I've already asked for their permission to post this comment on this video, because I was like, holy shnikes. And then I found another comment from Sonalee. So I got a comment from a subscriber telling me about Sonalee, and then like a couple day laters, I saw Sonalee comment on a mutual person that we both follow, and it was a little disgusting. So from then on, Sonalee was on my list, and I started digging a little bit more. I was reminded of the Cosby stuff. I was looking a little deeper more into their page, and we're just gonna sit here and we're gonna talk a little trash. That's what we're gonna do. Let's first get into the comment from my subscriber. This is my introduction to Sonalee. My introduction to Sonalee was from 2023, when they did the whole Cosby thing, which we will get into.
Patience, little dear. Everything has to be in order.
All right, so this comment is from our friend Mercurial Harmoniums. So let's just read it really quick and then we'll break it down. All right. The reason I became part of the anti-fat acceptance movement in 2020, long before I lost the weight, was because of the formerly famous and currently disgraced Sonalee Rashatwar. So disgraced because of their comments on the Cosby documentary. So it's actually not a singular documentary. It was a docu-series, and it's called We Need to Talk About Cosby. If you are interested in watching it, it's on Showtime if you would like to stream it. I haven't seen it. I should have, but I haven't seen it. We'll go over the video, but basically Sonalee Rashatwar has now been viewed as a grape apologist. Yeah, if you're fuming, stay tuned, because we're going to get into it, okay? I went to the same university and had several liberal arts classes with her back in 2011 and 2012. She was outrageous, and I have so many stories, but as a side note, she was very classist towards me because I was one of the few poor and working students, and for that, other students valued my perspective, so she stopped at nothing to attack me every chance she got because she was jealous of the attention. Anyway, one day she accused me of being anti-feminist for not attempting to develop a sexual attraction to women. This is a gay man. Okay? This is a person who is attracted to men, who, it just feels very homophobic, right? Yuck. Okay. She believes sexuality is not inherent, but a choice made by sociological and environmental factors, and homosexuality is merely an excuse for misogyny in men. Homophobic. Call the police. Though it's noble and empowering for women to be gay. If only that privileged, delusional creep knew what I went through what I sacrificed growing up poor in a conservative area to fight for my right to be openly gay. I told her that day to go F herself. In 2020, I discovered she was a famous therapist that was still attacking gay men and advocating for very depraved grape fantasies along with other psychotic deviants. Look up the Fat Sex Therapist, which is her handle on Instagram. So yeah, that's why I'm here with you all today. So thank you very much, Mercurial Harmoniums, because I'm excited. Let's get into it, okay? So let's go ahead and just TW, okay? I'm going to go over the grape apologist part. So if you are not a fan of grape, you can skip to this timestamp. I'll give you a chance. So Sonalee was on a documentary about Bill Cosby. If you're unfamiliar with Bill Cosby, maybe you're not from the United States. I don't know how you could not know who Bill Cosby is, but listen, we'll go over who Bill Cosby is. Bill Cosby is a famous American actor who was on a show in the 80s to 90s called The Cosby Show, where we follow his family. He's like this, Dr. Huxtable is, I believe, a therapist or a counselor. I think.
He was a pediatrician.
He was an OBGYN.
Oh, that's right, he delivered babies. Oh my God.
You could have been a dentist, for crying out loud. But you weren't.
I loved The Cosby Show. I'm just being 100% with you guys. We were a fan of the Cosbys, okay? But throughout his career, it has been discovered that Bill Cosby has been a serial rapist involving shrugging and making women go unconscious for his deviance and schmexual pleasures, okay? So a lot of people think that this is like new news that Bill Cosby has just been freshly accused of his crimes, but there have been allegations against Bill Cosby since like the 60s, okay? Homie, not a good man. I'm not going to get into how. You can definitely Google, but it involved drinking and then, yes. So, yuck, right? In 2014, that kind of was, more people were coming forward. I believe it was probably due to, thankfully, the Me Too movement. But, like, more people were coming forward and being more comfortable with calling out and accusing Bill Cosby of these crimes. In 2016, the criminal charges were filed. Anyway, yada, yada, yada. Homie was sentenced. Let's see here. In 2018, he was found guilty on 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault and sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison, which... Okay, so he was released. So in 2021, his conviction was overturned in Pennsylvania, and he has been released after only serving 2 years. So...
what the fuck?
What do we expect, though? What do we expect in this country sometimes? Sometimes I get pissed because we see people who go to jail for basically life for marijuana, and then you see famous rich people only serve like 2 years because they can afford like a great lawyer who has no heart, basically. I don't know. You know what? This is not a lawyer channel, okay? This is a fat activist channel. I'm just catching you up, okay? Imagine hearing about that, Bill Cosby. Yucky. Grapes. Okay, and then you have this like super feminist, fat liberationist
sex therapy, so
very sex positive, and they become known as like a grape apologist. So let's watch the video, okay? This is the clip of Sonalee talking about defending sort of the actions of Cosby and mentioning, other options for people who may like to put women to sleep and then do things to them, okay? So it's disgusting.
Disgusting!
Like,
if we actually grappled with the fact that sex negativity is what causes this type of behavior.
So the type of behavior that she's talking about is literal grape, okay? That type of behavior is not caused by sex negativity. So my guess, they may be getting into what that means to them, what sex negativity means to them. I'm thinking maybe some type of like moral basis, like sex is dirty or something like that. But when it comes to grape, science says it's nothing about the ickiness of sex or anything like that. People who grape because they want power, okay? They're going to get into the fact that they think it might be a kinkadoo, right? She thinks that grape is a kinkadoo. She thinks that what Cosby did by putting women to sleep to grape them was part of kinkadoo play. Yeah. But when it comes to grape, it's not that. It's not a kinkadoo. It's a power thing. Maybe a fear of rejection thing. I don't know. Well, I'm talking about the sleeping part, but yuck. Oh God, I can't even.
Then we could create a world where, in an idyllically sex-positive world, someone is able to pay conscious women to come and be drugged so that I can get my kick out. My
fucking disgusting, right? So aside from what's morally wrong from believing that grape is a kinkadoo, the first thing that comes to my mind is consent can be revoked at any time, even in the middle of the act, okay? When you put somebody to sleep, they're not able to fully be 100% consensual. Even if they sign a documentation or they sign paperwork and say, like, I'm good with this, we should always be 100% able to revoke consent, even in the middle of the act. Disgusting.
Disgusting!
This assumes that grape is driven by unmet sexual desires or a kinkadoo, right? But criminology, psychology, you can look it up. Most of what the literature will tell you is that it is a desire for power, entitlement, and like sometimes it's just an act of evil, okay? I mean, and I did say we're taking out the morality thing, but sometimes it's just people are just bad, okay? People who grape aren't looking for a consensual scenario, okay? My belief is that if you start to like do this role play or this like scenario or this like substitution type of situation where you have somebody even like pretending, there is a very, very strong possibility that it may like evolve into something more dangerous, I'm assuming. So I don't think that the substitution of let's not do this illegally, let's have somebody consent to being put to sleep for your sexual desires may not help them. It may make them want it more, and maybe they won't even want to pay for it anymore. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just, we're just spitballing, okay? I don't think that when it comes to violence of this type, I don't think that any type of role playing or any type of practice or any type of like releasing of this kinkadoo or something like that, like I don't think that this type of like therapy is helpful, because a lot of the times like this type of violence is not something that is planned out. A lot of the times it is I mean there are plans, like some people do stalk people, but anyway, it's a compulsory thing, like a compulsion, and then it is like, yeah, it's just not something that can be. I just don't believe that people who wish to do violence, especially on women, they need something way different than being given their desires in a consensual way. Like, you know what I mean? Like they need, And then lastly, if we were to create this type of Shrek work, I believe that I'm okay with people wanting to, make money, right? I'm okay with people wanting to make money, get the money. I understand the world is difficult, but Shrek work, in my opinion, is always going to be exploitation. Shrek work is exploitation of the female body, if you're a female, of the human body, of the human form, and that can take a toll on you, And imagine if this becomes a very, very high paying, because people are
depraved,
a very, very high paying form of Shrek work because of the risk of dying, basically. I can imagine a lot of people needing the money and running to this because capitalism, but I can see if this was ever allowed, which I don't think it is going to be allowed because it's unethical, first of all. It just basically is unethical. That's why I'm disgusted by this person. We would lose a lot of people in this business because you can die from this. You can become no longer a member of the planet if you do this. It's possible. Anytime that you mess around with like sleepy things, you can hurt yourself in a way where you don't come back.
My fetish on having sex with unconscious people.
Ew! Bring back kinkadoo shaming. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. I cannot believe that this even made it on the documentary. Like, are you guys professional or are you not professional?
Are you stupid or are you dumb?
There's a consensual way to do that. If we actually grappled with the fact that sex negativity is what
The fact that this person went to college, is a sex therapist,
Just said,
that there's a consensual way to have sex when you're unconscious.
are you fucking dumb?
Are you dumb?
Are you fucking dumb?
Anyway, let's move on. So that was mostly everybody's introduction to Sonalee. Again, I believe that was from 3 years ago. Let's double check. Yes, that was from the spring of 2023. Disgusting. Then, so again, it was super strange that I got this comment from Mercurian a couple days later, like literally a couple days later. I'm watching this reel on Instagram. There's music, so we're not even gonna play it. But this is a girl this is that gal I was talking about, where I've been following her since she got diagnosed with cancer.
I'm 25 and being fat led me to having cancer.
She had uterine cancer and I had the precancerous lesions. If you're not familiar, that's part of the reason why I have to lose weight and remain in a healthier size. And I'm still on a weight loss journey. But she made a reel or a TikTok about how she got cancer because she was fat. So she's ended up having to remove her uterus, I believe. And then she lost some weight, but then she's kind of blown up, but she's back on Instagram and making reels and stuff. But she's gained quite a bit of weight, okay? So if you're just listening, on this reel, she is eating, it looks to be pretty healthy. It's rice, broccoli, and chicken. And it says, "The devil couldn't reach me, so instead he gave me an addiction to the one thing that humans need to survive." And so she's talking about a food addiction, right? I also suffer from food addiction, and food noise is very present still in my life from time to time. And it sucks because yes, you do need to eat to survive. However, you can manipulate your body and it's still possible with a food addiction to lose the weight. You just have to, I would say, retrain your palate. I've commented on a few of her videos, like, we should do keto together. I really would love to be this girl's friend. I think she's funny as hell. And, I don't hate fat people. Just because she's fat doesn't mean that I wouldn't want to be friends with somebody who has a good personality. She's actually pretty funny, and apparently she lost 16 pounds in a week.
Girl.
Which is probably just inflammation. Like, she's clearly inflamed. But I think she probably doesn't like me because I make she probably wouldn't like me because I make videos like this, but I am rooting for her. I'm rooting for her. Okay. I want her to get well. I don't want to see people get to big bodies and be sick and run the risk of getting cancer and etc. Okay. So food addiction is very real to me and clearly to our friend Jordy here. But what we have here is a comment by the fat sex therapist, which is our friend Sonalee. Okay. And let's see if you guys can even read that. Okay, so what we have here is our friend, the fat sex therapist, Sonalee. "Hi, Sweet Pea. If you ever want to talk fat liberation, I got some reads." And then she links her website. And I was disgusted, okay? I was disgusted. And I wasn't going to say anything because I was like, okay, this bitch is on my shit list now. And I don't want her to block me because I want to be able to talk trash about her on my channel. But then Angelica went and one-upped me and commented on her. So we're going to share Angelica's comment as well. And then I had to because we're twins. Okay, so Angelica Unfiltered, my twin, okay, it says, "And you're a sex therapist, and you're a therapist." She posted a video talking about struggling with addiction, and you recommend fat acceptance. Fat liberation isn't going to help her. It will make her issues worse because the movement is rooted in science, misinformation, and victimhood. Mental health treatment will save her life. Okay? Okay. Let's look at the other comments. So we've got people saying gross. We've got me saying absolutely disgusting. She's got a problem and you want to sell a death cult to her. The comments are crazy, okay? Okay, so this person replying to Angelica, all addiction is rooted in denial, a build of tension whilst you restrict, then a snap back to the behavior you find addicting, along with shame and all those negative emotions. To break the cycle, you must accept that. One of the things that will keep you trapped in the cycle is fat phobia. So this person is clearly
obese.
What does fat liberation do? Removes the shame, removes the negativity now, before stuff loss. So you're mentally ready to tackle the addiction that causes the weight gain, etc. No. I mean, we can agree that you should love yourself, but love yourself enough to like lose the weight now because your body is in danger. You're in danger. You are in danger.
You in danger, girl.
I'm sorry, Jordy, if we ever become friends and you ever decide to watch my videos, but you are in danger right here. You are in danger, okay? So this whole, you need to be able to accept yourself first before you lose the weight. Like, no, you're in danger, lose the weight now. Let's work on mental health at the same time. But like, fat acceptance is I have been delivered.
I am delivered.
Okay? I'm never going to be okay with fat acceptance. I'm okay with accepting, if you're in a super morbidly obese body, I'm not okay with you accepting the body that you currently have. Okay, I'm not doing that anymore. We're not gonna be nice about it anymore. If you are morbidly obese, you need to fucking get to work and lose the weight, because we want you to be around. You know, it's not that we hate fat people. We don't. We love people. We are all humans. We all have a heart and a soul and a mind, and you deserve to be on the planet as long as you can possibly be. And if you're morbidly obese, we want you to, I care about your health. What I regret ever saying that I've been okay with fat people just living and existing their lives. Sure, I guess I am still okay with that, but when you come onto the internet, and I don't think that Jordy is doing this, she clearly wants to lose weight. She's putting the work in, okay? When you come onto the internet and you pretend and you blindly accept fat acceptance, and then you start to glorify that lifestyle, you are selling death. And I don't like that, okay? Someone said, fat futurist, you will be dead in the near future. Oh, sorry. Okay, this person says, fat sex therapist. It was people like you going on about fat liberation that made me not realize for years that I had an addiction and fringe beating recorder. All right, yeah. So clearly Sonalee is interested in recruiting people to go to their website and make money off of their illness and their delusion. So we're going to go to their website really quick. I dislike them so much still. Okay, so this is a website, Fat Lib Archive, Fat Women's Problem Solving Group, Radical Change from 1978. Oh my god. So basically, Sonalee just shared what is this? So my bad. I thought this was Sonalee's website. This is this is a website just for fat literature. I'm dying. Okay, let's take a look here. Oh, is it we're gonna have to come back here, I think. Oh my god, look at it. It's just little fat hands. That's so funny. Okay, so they shared a website that has fat fat literature. I'm fucking dying. Okay. But we did look at Sonalee's website. Let's take a look here and see if I can find her. Okay, so here is Sonalee's Instagram. Let's take a look here and see if I can find their webpage. So open link, new tab. If you're wondering how they pronounce their name, let's listen.
Sonalee Rashatwar.
Yes, I used to think it was Sonalee, but it's Sonalee. I'm just going to read what it says here. So this is from their link tree. It says, why work with Sonalee? I've tried zooming out, but it still gets cut off right here. So this is very, very poor website planning. Like, look at this. I'm pissed. Like, what are we doing here? There's no bottom scroll bar. Anyway, irregardless, let's listen. All right. So Sonalee Rashatwar is a clinical social worker, sex therapist, public speaker, community organizer, donut lover, clearly. Sonalee, they, is an award-winning clinical social worker, sex therapist, adjunct lecturer and grassroots organizer based in Philly, licensed in PA. They are a super fat, queer, bisexual, non-binary therapist and a co-owner of Radical Therapy Center, specialized in treating sexual trauma, diet trauma, racial or immigrant trauma, and South Asian family abuse, while offering fat-positive healthcare. Let's take a look here. Although Sonalee is a sex therapist and they are fat liberationists, they're very much a political page. We can look at their profile now on the gram, if y'all can see that. On Sonalee's page, Fat Sex Therapist, they have 148,000 followers. Sex therapist, queer as in, it says on here, queer as in Free Palestine. Decolonial trauma therapist, fat futurist. Oh my god, Sonalee loves the movie WALL-E, I bet. Well, no, they probably hate it because WALL-E was kind of fat phobic. So here's their page. So there are a ton of fat positive stuff, but mostly political stuff, which, okay, go off, you know? So mostly political, but what I have is some of their reels that we'll go over, and then we'll just call it a day. I just wanted to talk trash. They're on my shit list. Me hate. So if you are just listening, I need to erase this fucking, I know I said this already. All right, so if you're just listening, this is a collaboration that Sonalee did with a Dr. Donna Orioio. Sorry, Dr. Donna Orioio. Okay, so it says on here, fat folk have the right to exist regardless of their size, confidence, period. If they love or don't love their bodies, regardless of what they say, they have the right to exist and take up space accordingly. And the fat sex therapist was schooling the folk on this one. In this clip, Sonalee reminds us that you don't have to love your body to take good care of it. You don't need permission to exist. Okay? Okay.
How dare you have this like pride or this like persistence in like demanding the right to exist? And I think it's essential because when we leave that place inside of us empty, that's when either some colonial attitudes can reside. That is a place where we can like lose our own connection to our intuition and what we know to be right. And one of the last places colonialism leaves is our minds, is our bodies. And so fat people have a responsibility to demand our right to exist. Whether it comes with pride or weight neutrality or like body neutrality, just like, you know, we don't have to love ourselves in order to have permission to exist or permission for ourselves to take good care of ourselves. You don't have to love your body in order to take good care of it.
Okay, so let's break that down a little bit. I can understand where they're coming from. A lot of people do find it irritating to see fat people existing and just like being happy in their fat body and not really wanting to do anything. I can admit that I've been like, you're dying. Why are you happy? I'm just kidding. I can admit that I do find it a little bit irritating or like annoying to see people who are clearly glorifying an obese lifestyle and then fighting to the death of saying that they're just living their life and they're not, you know, glorifying obesity and yada, yada, yada. Okay. One person that I believed in my heart of hearts that was not one of those people was Alicia McCarville. You know, I was like, she is just living her life. She is just living like, you know, a normal life. First of all, it's not normal. She's like a very, very, you know, I would say probably super rich from being a TikTok / Instagram influencer. You know, maybe she's not. Maybe I don't know. You know, I don't know her finances, but she is often showing off that, hey, I'm this like fat lady in this great big fat body, and I have this super hot buff husband, and she's fat acceptance, which is unacceptable. So that's crazy. I don't know why for the longest time I was like, no, she's just, you know, I'm not even gonna, she's just living. No, she's, you know, not for long, right? Unfortunately. And that's not me being like mean or anything like that. That's just like statistics. She already has a fucking, what's it called? a CPAP. So that's just statistics and logic, okay?
Dare you have this like pride or this like persistence in like demanding the right to exist? And I think it's essential because when we leave that place inside of us empty, that's when either some colonial attitudes can reside.
Okay, so let me know in the comments what's your take off from that. If you're no longer happy of living in an obese body and you want to make a change, do you believe that brings colonialism into your heart and colonialism into that space? My assumption is that Sonalee believes that anything that is not pro-fat is rooted in colonialism. So rooted in whiteness, basically, is what they're getting at. They've said it before. There are other videos where they have said that, right? And I have to disagree. Again, this is one of those moments where I disagree with the whole anti-fatness is rooted in racism, or anti-fatness is anti-blackness. I don't believe that. I don't believe that certain DNA is, or I don't believe that certain skin colors or races are inherently fat. And somebody else, I don't know if I copied there. If you know who you are, I'm sorry if I don't mention or I can't find it and I don't clip it in. But somebody had mentioned that because obesity hits Black bodies harder and like their threshold to getting type 2 diabetes is lower, and they have more, like a higher percentage of their population are living in obese or overweight bodies, that it is actually more harmful to be like, you should not try to be healthy because it's in your DNA to be fat, because fat kills, right? Being morbidly obese kills. So if you know a population is susceptible to gaining fat quickly, or gaining obesity, or becoming obese, or getting type 2 diabetes quicker than other races, if you wanted that population to be around a little bit longer, would you not try to discuss nutrition or healthy habits or eating healthily? I know that some of it is systemic. We talk about food deserts all the time, but again, I'll put in the percentage. Food deserts do not affect Americans as much as you think. I know it's crazy, but it does not affect Americans as much as you think it does. But yeah, you would think that is more harmful to be like, no, just be fat, because if you're not fat, that's anti-Black. Again, to me, it feels racist, but also it's like, well, if Black people are more susceptible to being obese, wouldn't you want them to be around longer? Wouldn't you want them to like be healthy? I think everybody deserves good nutrition, right? So that's where I'm getting at. Maybe that was a little bit of a ramble, but
that is a place where we can like lose our own connection to our intuition and what we know to be right. And one of the last places colonialism leaves is,
I feel like Sonalee is one of those people who is a rambler just to ramble and just to sound smart. Like, that was really like not that profound. I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb and it was profound and you guys are like, oh my God, I'm totally fat liberationist now.
Is our minds, is our bodies. And so fat people have a responsibility to demand our right to exist, whether it comes with pride or weight neutrality. Nobody
is trying to unexist fat people. We're trying to make the country healthier, basically. Nobody is killing fat people. I said
it. Or like body neutrality, just like, we don't have to love ourselves in order to have permission to exist, or permission for ourselves to take good care of ourselves. You don't have to love your body in order to take good care of it.
Yeah, you have to love your body in order to take good care of it. And that means eating well and not too much, and moving your body more.
And something else, you said to end fat phobia that we need to dismantle Western civilization. And I'm wondering how this would...
What? I don't even know if I'm going to play this.
apply in the space of self-esteem? Like, if it applies, and if so, how would it apply?
When I teach about fat phobia, it is important for me to connect it to every other oppression that exists so that we can see all the links.
Can I just be honest with you guys? I'm real big on professionalism. Like, not really. I'm obviously a farter arounder, but like this is a professional who's interviewing another professional. That it appears that they're both doctors or they're both mental health professionals. The other gal is dressed appropriately for a work meeting, I guess. You know, I'm thinking these are like colleagues of something, of some sort. Sonalee is wearing pajamas or something. They're wearing a t-shirt. I don't know. It's just like, if we ever, clearly I'm just a YouTuber. I'm just like, sometimes I go onto my friends' channels in my pajamas, mainly Angelica. But that's different. We're farting around. We're not trying to change the world, you know?
That like if we were to pull at one corner, oh, they're all connected. Because fat phobia is about dehumanization. At any time a system of power, like a large structure like white supremacy, wants to dehumanize a large group of people, it is in order to justify the violence that white supremacy is enacting on this group of people, or for whatever end goal white supremacy has.
Okay. All right. This says you are not given one precious life to try to shrink your body until you die. And there's copyrighted music, so I'm taking it off. But let's take a look here. So Sonalee is huge. What a body, right? And it's just showing them with their family. Their friends are clearly also overweight and obese. They're stamping. They're doing artwork. So you were not given one precious life to try to shrink your body until you die. However, we are human beings and we are fit for survival. Our number one instinct is to survive. So the fact you be serious. You are just admitting that yes, we only get one life, and yet you're gonna spend it like this and end that life a little bit quicker.
This is just me speaking about statistically.
Statistically speaking. Super morbidly obese bodies don't live as long as like fitter bodies, right? So what do you mean? Let's see what their caption had to say. All right, so caption says, it feels impossible to get fat right now. I'm constantly inundated with weight loss advertisements. Friends and family are telling me about the weight loss journeys. It feels easier than ever to find and try weight loss medication. If you're feeling that pressure to shrink, reach out to fat community to share your feelings. We all need a gut check sometimes when it feels like everyone is abandoning the Fat Liberation Manifesto. Shut the fuck up. Watch fat film and television that uplifts and dignifies fat embodiment. Skip through weight loss ads, mute them, report them as uninteresting or offensive, reclaim your attention to and mind space. Don't watch or listen to weight loss ads. Read fat liberation literature. Thanks to the hard work of activists, we have the Fat Liberation Archive available for free anywhere. Watch a video, read the manifesto. Remember that fat liberationists have been writing and recording since the 1970s. So that was that website I showed you guys earlier about the effectiveness of intentional weight loss. Oh, sorry, about the ineffectiveness of intentional weight loss. 95 to 97% of intentional weight loss results in weight regain within 1 to 5 years. That's if you fucking go back to eating what made you fat, okay? So the reason why there are multiple reasons why someone's diet won't work. First of all, they're doing a dumbass diet like the cayenne pepper diet or something that's not meant, that's a quick fix and not like a lifestyle change. 2, they're not doing the lifestyle change. So they're just relying on a magic bullet basically, and then whenever they get to their goal weight they go back to eating like shit. And then number 3, they go back to eating like shit. So like it's so odd. When I ate a ton of carbohydrates and bags of Haribo candy and like McDonald's for every fucking meal and had 5 meals a day, I got fat. But then when I decided to, start adding intermittent fasting and like eating high fat, low carb, ketogenically, a lot of fat basically, and very, very, very low carb and not eating 5 times a day, I lost the weight. And here's the thing. I haven't gone back to eating McDonald's 5 times a day and I haven't gained the weight back. And I've been ketogenic since 2000. I mean, I started keto in like 2018-ish, 2017. It's blurry. Gained weight after COVID, and then like 2021, 2022 started trying to lose the weight again, and I've been maintaining 40 pounds for the last almost 3 years. And I reevaluated, I raised my fat intake, and I started losing weight again. So that's weird. Where's my, I'm hitting that 1 to 5 years. I'm hitting that 5-year mark pretty soon. How am I expected to gain almost 50 pounds again in the next 6 months? I don't think so. I mean, I don't plan on it because I made the lifestyle change. You know what I mean? I refuse to go back to 225 pounds, to almost 225 pounds. Okay? I refuse. Okay, cry, rage, let it out. It sucks to feel at war with our own bodies. This is what fatphobic oppression feels like. The war on obesity has made fat bodies a scapegoat for failed social policy and never-ending social welfare cuts. And eliminating... Okay, so I'm assuming they are calling out that they're being blamed for the economic burden that fat bodies have on the United States. I'm assuming. I think she's from the I think they're from the United States. Let's see here. Eliminating the existence of fat bodies does not make the world healthier or safer. Yes, it will. Are you dumb? It will. If you, and we're not, and they say eliminating, like we're lining them up and then, we're not doing that, right? Eliminating fat bodies means everybody gets better nutrition. Eat whole foods, eat whole foods. Eat less, move more. And that doesn't mean that fat people no longer exist. There's a person underneath all this fat and skin, you guys. And when you remove the fat from the body, the brain's still there, the person's still there, the personality is still there. You know what I mean? So, what? Oh, I thought it said only cuter. No, it says only crueler for people who do not fit for constantly moving goalposts of white supremacist beauty ideals. So I don't think, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that a fit body is a white supremacist beauty ideal? Or is it just a fit body is what the body wants? Nobody's body wants to be that size. Sonalee's body is screaming. That body is telling me, hold on, you'll see it. That body is telling me I'm inflamed. Her glycogen levels could feed a bodybuilder for 3 days. The bodybuilder could, for 3 days straight, 72 hours, be lifting and lifting and lifting and not need a fucking carb up. Look to nature for permission to exist as you are. Look for the places and ways nature also takes up its own full natural shape. It defies boundaries and borders. It is kin, living, connected, and part of you and me. Okay, so they're trying to be like naturey, natural. I cannot. Okay, health. Again, this is, it says song not available. It says healthcare fat phobia support group. The comment section. Open to everyone. Okay, so it's a group therapy session for $40. A large body. Are you in a large body? Not for long. And find yourself avoiding seeking healthcare due to experiences of healthcare fat phobia from visits that occurred recently or even in childhood. Join Sonalee, the fat sex therapist, in a supportive, healing, intimate space to discover your emotional blocks, explore what we can find to support each other, and practice some tools in fat healthcare advocacy. We will have time for question and answers at the end. Folks, and early and far along their journey of fat liberation and self-advocacy, fat people interested in practicing self-advocacy skills, medical professionals, and those who are not fat but love fat people and would like to attend in listening capacity. An eliciting capacity. So that in a listening capacity basically means if you're skinny, you can show up, but don't talk. Don't reach for the mic. Don't ask. Don't do question and answers. Nope. Just sit and watch. Be supportive in a quiet way. Why fat people deserve dignity while receiving health care. Growing up as a fat kid, Sonalee learned firsthand how medical fat phobia is used to normalize shaming fat people to coercive health care in their work with fat therapy clients. Sonalee believes fat self-advocacy Advocacy is a necessary weapon in our fight against both diet culture and the medical industrial complex. Due to sensitive subject matter, this will not be recorded. Support Circle will be offered monthly with rotating themes and topics surrounding medical fat phobia. This is not a lecture. This is an interactive discussion space. So actually, I do like things like this because it's hard to make friends as adults. So, so I'm glad that, they're all getting together. All right. Okay. So it's just, again, there's no music and it's just Sonalee being fat in public, and talking about their fat phobic support group. Again, the song is not available. I'm wondering if they did a voiceover. Okay, so let's read the captions then. So there's, don't let thin weight people ever convince you there's only one way to live a happy life. And then it's just them dancing. The captions say, all right, don't get ripped up by diet culture myths. There's no one way to have a body. There's no perfect generalized way to eat. There is no best way to live when it comes to body size. Okay, so let's break that down. All right, there's no one way to have a body. Correct. There's no perfect way to eat. I also agree with that. And there is no best way to live when it comes to body size. So, disagree. I don't think that it is a healthy body size that you live in, Sonalee. You're huge, and I don't mean that in a mean way. You know you're huge. You are unhealthy. You look like you have insulin resistance. I'm looking at your neck. You clearly have insulin resistance. And there are a multitude of health risks that come with insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. So there is a best way to live, and that's in a body that does not have as much fat on it. Dieting thins of all shades. Sorry, you are all complicit. Dieting thins of all shades. Okay, you're all complicit. Will really have us duped that there exists one way, and if we all eat this one specific way, we can have all the health benefits of thin whiteness. So I think a lot of us agree that believing that there's only one particular diet is dumb. Like, I mentioned in my last video that I used to be carnivore, and I believe that this is the actual human diet. No, I think that I would lean more towards omnivorous, meat based. I'm being biased, but I do think that humans are meat based, less carb. There's so much manufactured carbohydrates in our life right now. So I do think that we lean more that way, but body individuality, bioindividuality. That's how I'm going to pronounce it, because I don't know I don't know why my mouth's not working. But bioindividuality. Nope, I can't do it. Something like that. Bodies are different, and there's no one way to eat. And I don't believe that they said that people who are on diets all believe that we all should eat this one way, and that's not the case. Many of us who are on specific diets or specific lifestyles have been doing it for a while. We don't believe, things work differently for other bodies, or sometimes specific diets are just more sustainable for certain people. So, lie. This is the fallacy of the unknown source citation of somebody, Laws of Fat Phobia. People assume that we have the data that supports that weight loss is possible. It is not. Weight loss is not possible. Another person who says that weight loss is not possible, yet if you're in the comment section, let me know how much weight you lost. How much weight have you lost, you guys? I've lost and maintained over 40 pounds, and I guess I've done the impossible. So somebody call the Guinness World Book of Records or whatever, because I'm defying the laws of physics by losing weight. It is not. That's just so crazy. That it can be sustained for a long period of time. For the vast majority of us, it cannot. Okay, so they basically contradicted themselves. Weight loss is possible. It is not. And then they said it can be sustained for long periods of time. It cannot. So if weight loss is not possible, then what do you mean it can't be sustained? If you wouldn't even have to bring up the second part if it wasn't possible. So what the fuck do you mean? 95% of dieters regain the weight loss, which scientists believe is related to set point theory. No, not every scientist. Not every scientist with a brain cell. This is the idea that our bodies have epigenetically determined, which means trauma impacts our genes, weight range our bodies will fight to stay within. This explains that why we plateau during intentional weight loss. Our bodies experience diets as famine and try to course correct to keep us alive. So I maintained 180 pounds for like almost 2 years, maybe even 3. I don't know. I lost 40 pounds when I tried to, after I think a little bit before my Hashimoto's diagnosis. And then I kind of like have been maintaining, bopping and down, like, maintaining or like fluctuating slightly, but not by much. And when I started YouTube, I was like, let's get to a healthy BMI. So I'm currently at like 175, but up, fluctuating up like 2 or 3 pounds. And I'm at 175, fluctuating 2 or 3 pounds. And I need to be my highest part of the healthy weight range on the BMI scale is 145. So I need to lose 30 pounds. That seems impossible for me, but I'm putting in the work. I'm doing the things. It's slower for me to lose weight because I do have PCOS and Hashimoto's, but I did, I was focusing more on reversing my insulin resistance, which actually happened in March. So I'm on the right track, you guys. Okay, let's see here. There's not much else for Sonalee. Let's watch this last one and then we'll call it a day. So it says your tendency to manage or blame illness on food is diet culture. Copyrighted music, but you can't blame every problem. You can't blame every problem in your body on food. Check in with a HAES doctor or anti-diet dietitian. Your tendency to want to manage conditions with food is diet culture. So I've said this, I had quite a few videos lately, but like food is medicine, but I wouldn't say that it's medicine like it can cure cancer, but I would say that food is preventative medicine. So if you have a condition, let's say, for example, I'm gonna use my friend. I'm not going to say your name, but you know who you are. Because I don't know if you want me to talk about this, but like my friend was just found out that they're allergic to coconut. And they were using coconut to like coconut water or something to like do like a cleanse or whatever, like some kind of like a detox. But then their skin like was getting inflamed. You know what they had to do? They had to remove a food from their diet to help a skin condition. Does that mean is that diet culture? I had to remove and lower my carbohydrates to reverse my insulin resistance. Take away the weight loss because again, I just said a few minutes ago, my thing with the diet was to get healthy first. Like you can't really lose weight if your body's like trying to do other things first. That's my opinion. Or it'll just be really slow. So if I want to remove insulin resistance from my body and I lower my carbohydrate intake, is that diet culture? You know what I mean? I feel like this person is trying to gaslight people from trying anything to fix any kind of ailment. Like sometimes you're at your wit's end and the last thing that you want to do is eat a specific way that you're not really 100% wanting to do, but it ends up working for you. And then you're fixed from this like specific problem. So another thing that I've come across with the carnivore diet, and this is just me spitballing. I'm not telling you to go try the carnivore diet, but a lot of people who go on the carnivore diet, they do it for like skin conditions as well. Just another one with the skin conditions. Their psoriasis goes away. I just popped my neck. Damn. Did you guys hear that? That really fucking felt weird. I hope I don't die. But anyway, their psoriasis disappeared. Or some people with, like for me, I get a lot of brain fog. When I'm in ketosis, like right now I am in ketosis, I'm a little bit more wired, okay? So I hate this. I hate it feels like discrimination for somebody wanting to eat a specific way to fix an ailment. Because you're right to not go on to specific medications. And sometimes there are no medications. There's no medication that'll cure PCOS. I can go on metformin, which I have not been on for a few weeks now, and I've been okay. I can go on metformin. I can, but you know, the cysts will still be there. The only way that's going to relieve my insulin resistance or relieve any kind of like symptoms from PCOS is eating a low carb diet. That's me personally. When I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's, I found that eating more eggs and adding selenium and like eating for a thyroid issue has benefited me. My hair was falling out, you guys. My hair was falling out. Is that diet culture that I wanted to fix my food intake so that my hair would stop falling out? Like, it's just like, you just want to be fat. Just be fat and exist as a fat person and stop making pro-fat content. If you just want to be fat, whatever. But don't come on here and be like, that's diet culture because you want to alleviate your symptoms from insulin resistance and eat less carbs. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Oh my God. All right. Anyway, so that is the newest #1 fat acceptance creator that I dislike. I would say they are #1. They are #1. #1, me not like you. Okay? Sonalee has ruined my day. And anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. If you haven't already, go ahead and like. If you are not subscribed, please consider giving me a subscribe. I hope that you like my little banter and my little ranter. I banter and I ranter here on this channel, so subscribe so that you see some more bant and rant. And yeah, what are your thoughts about Sonalee Rashatwar? I guess incredible. You know what I mean? I guess. I think they are harmful to... They have the potential to be harmful to young minds. I'll say this till the day I die, living in a morbidly obese body is deadly. And that's that. So if you made it all the way to this part of the video, if you made it all the way to the end, you are a trooper, and me support you. Me love you. Leave a donut in the comment section to let me know that you watched all the way to the end, and I really appreciate you. I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend or whatever. Thank you. Goodbye.
I love you.